everyone, welcome back to the course. In today's lesson, we are diving into inner function and scoping in JavaScript. This is a fascinating topic that will help you to understand how function can be nested inside another functions and how JavaScript manages variable access across different level of your code. Okay, so by the end of this video, you will have a solid grasp of inner functions, how scoping works within them, and why this is so powerful for writing the clean and organized code. So let's dive in. The first question is, what are the inner function? So yeah, what exactly the inner function? If I want to explain, well, actually it's quite simple. And inner function is just a function that define inside another function, and that's it. And this is a simple example. Outer function, and this is the inner function. You see here, you call this inner function this outer function, and then this outer function are invoked here. So when we run this code, we first call this outer function, which log its message, then define and immediately calls the inner function, okay, which log its own message. Notice that this inner function only exists inside this outer function, okay. You can't call inner function from outside. It's completely encapsulated within its parent function. So if we try to call inner function outside, it actually it's give the error like this, because the inner function is not defined. We will get an error because this inner function does not exist in the outer scope, okay. This encapsulation is actually a powerful feature for organizing your code and keeping things modular, okay. Next is the understanding the scope in inner function. So let's talk about the scope first. Scope determines where the variable can be accessed in your code. When working with the inner function, JavaScript follows a rule called the lexical scope or the static scoping. Okay, I mean lexical scoping or the static scoping. But we will cover that in more detail in the future lesson. Don't worry. For now, here is what you need to know. An inner function has access to a variable from its parent function, but the parent function does not have access to the variables defined in the inner function. Okay, let me show you the example. See what happened? This inner function can be accessed this outer function from the outer function, right? From the outer function, right? But if we try to access this inner function from the outer function, we get an error. Okay, this is because the variable are scoped to the function they are declared. Okay, the inner variable actually error because it's not defined. So the inner function inherit access from their parent scope only. Okay, always remember this. Now you can nest the function as deeply as you want. Each level has access to all the variable from its parent level. Okay, you see, this is the level 1, level 2, level 3, and in this level 3 you can pass those variable also, but you can pass this variable from here, because this is the outside of this function. Actually, this innermost function, the level 3, can access the variable from level 2 and level 1 and its own scope. This is called the scope chain, and it's how JavaScript looks up variables starting from the current scope and moving for outward until it finds the variable or reach the global scope. Okay, great. Now practical example and the counter with the inner function. So look at the practical example. Suppose you want to create a simple counter function. Suppose this is powerful. Okay, even though create counter has finished executing, the increment function still has access to the count variable. This is actually a preview of the closures, which we will explore in the next couple of lessons. So don't worry. Okay, you see, this is the create counter and this is the increment. and this increment written here, and this count are putting here. Actually, this count actually incremented in this function, increment function, right? Okay, so why use inner function? You might be wondering, why would I want to use the inner function? And here are a few reasons. Must remember. First, encapsulation. Inner functions help you hide the implementation details. You can create helper functions that are only relevant to the outer function, keeping your goal scope clean. Okay. Secondly, organization. They help you to organize related functionality together in one place. Thirdly, access to parent variables. Inner function can access and manipulate variables from their parent scope, okay, which is useful for creating specialized behavior. Remember it. So let me show you the another example. Okay, before showing the example, just I copied this code, so it would be helpful for you. This is the first point. Actually, this was the reason, few reason, and why we are using this, and this was the pointed encapsulation, organization, and access to the parent variables. Okay, great. Now the example, you see. Okay, great. Maybe one step further. Yes, good. Here the add and subtract are inner functions that are only accessible through the calculator function. This keep our code modular and maintainable. Okay. Now the important point to remember. Before we wrap up, let's recap the key point. First, inner functions are functions defined inside other functions. Inner functions can access variables from their parent scope. Parent functions cannot access variables from the inner function. Inner functions are not accessible from outside their parent function. Okay, this creates encapsulation and helps organize your code. The scope chain allows nested functions to access variables from all their parent scope. Okay, and that's inner function and scoping. So this concept is fundamental to understanding the more advanced topic like closure, which we are covering very soon. So don't worry. In the next lesson, we will explore the function programming and the pure function, where we will see how this concept tie into a larger programming paradigm. Okay, make sure you practice creating your own nested function and experiment with the different scoping scenarios. The more you play with these concepts, the more natural they will become. Okay, remember, the more you play with this concept, the more natural they will become. Okay, if you found this helpful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more JavaScript content. Drop any question in the comment below. I love hearing from you. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.